This is Cult Confessions with Christy and Josie. Welcome to our podcast.
Trigger warning may contain themes of religious trauma and sexual abuse. Disclaimer: all information in this podcast is our opinion based on our experiences. We do not purport any of this content to be inherently factual and believe that each individual has the right to draw their own conclusion.
Hi, I'm Christy.
And I'm Josie. And today on Cult Confessions, we are going to be talking about tarot card readings. Tarot card readings are very taboo in the IFB. Other cults too, but primarily we're talking about the IFB here. Anything like in the same realm, like astrology or like fortune telling, reading your tea leaves, palms, whatever, all of the above. It's very taboo in the IFB. It's considered witchcraft. It's considered giving the devil a foothold into your life. And, it's stupid that they teach that because that's not at all what it is. Like most of what we have learned from what we've been taught growing up, it's just wrong. So we decided we want to do one. I've never really done one before. I had a couple friends that had tarot cards like when I was younger at different places I used to work, but never did like an actual reading. Was this your first one?
Yeah, I've never done a reading
Cool.
before. They were always pretty scary sounding. And I feel like that's just like based off of movies and stuff where it like
it's all spooky.
Everything sounds, like,
yeah.
I don't know, like they're going to tell you you're going to die or something. Right. Someone you know is going to die. I don't know.
Well, we didn't get told that, so that's good.
Not this time.
Not this time anyway. And also I learned that apparently there are like different decks that will say different things.
Like different moods, yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of just thought, you got a tarot card deck and it was all the same cards and it was all, maybe just the artwork would change or something. But that's not the case. Each deck apparently means something different and can give you different results. And so that was very interesting. I had no idea that that was a thing.
Yeah, I think we got like the more chill stack.
It sounds like it, so that's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have a friend who does tarot card readings, and we asked her to do one for us. So we're gonna kind of talk about those results today, what our cards said, and kind of what we took away from it from our experiences. And just, I don't know, I very strongly encourage anyone who is, leaving a cult to branch out, do something like this. It wasn't scary at all. It was really interesting. It was really insightful. And, I don't know how much stock I put into like the reality that a card can dictate my future. And that's kind of what I thought this was all about, but it's not. It really is just about perspective and like a new way of seeing things. I don't know. I found it really helpful as somebody who doesn't, I don't really believe in astrology. I think it's interesting, but I don't really believe in it. Like I don't really put a lot of stock into that kind of stuff. So doing something like this is definitely outside of my comfort zone. But I don't know, I still found it really valuable, and it was just really nice to have kind of a different perspective on some of my experiences.
Yeah, I think that it gives you clarity on your current situations and kind of provides you insight and like, I guess, advice. And yeah, it's definitely not what I feel like we thought it was.
Yeah.
And I would just say that like doing this kind of stuff, I feel like has been really helpful in like healing from IFB.
I think so.
Thoughts and stuff, because it's like we're not afraid of like whatever we were taught before, and
Yeah.
venturing out and trying things and finding out ourselves, like what it really is like, and if it's scary or if it's evil or whatever, like we get to
Right.
choose that ourselves and decide that on our own.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely um really cool and like clarifying and stuff. And so I feel like I would definitely be down to like trying it again, and
Oh, same.
maybe for like the New Year's we could do like the yearly read.
Yeah, because there's
That one would be
that something
crazy.
else I learned was like there's different like time frames that you can do this for. So the one that we did was for a full moon cycle, which is a month.
Hmm.
Um, so like it was and we'll talk about the results in a minute, but we did it about a month ago. So we're gonna kind of talk today about like our perspective on, you know, how we felt at the time and then what we feel like we've kind of gotten from it as the month has gone on, like if it's helped at all. Um, but yeah, I would like to do a yearly one. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Maybe she'll do it.
I want to
Yeah.
try the different decks too.
I
Like,
know. Let's see if we can get a murder prediction in here somewhere.
yes,
That'd
please.
be neat. So the reading that we did, and I'm sure there are different kinds. This is just kind of like the one that we did. It was broken down into 8. I think it was 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. I can count. It was broken down into kind of 8 categories.
Hmm.
And those categories were the first one was a distraction or fear that's holding you back. The second one was an area where you should refocus your energy instead. Next was a past experience to let go of, and then a useful past experience to draw from, and then what to nurture and cultivate, and then next steps in your journey, and then inner strength, something that gives you inner strength or an inner strength of yours. And then the last one was outside helper advice that you could use. So that's kind of like how it's broken down. So we're kind of going to go through each category, talk about what cards we got, and what they meant for us. So anything else you
Yes.
want to say before we jump in?
No, I think that's everything.
Let's do it.
Let's get into it.
All right, so our first category is a distraction or fear that's holding you back. So what was your card and what did it mean?
Okay, so it's temperance upside down, represents an imbalance, discord, and frustration with current life events. Life feels off balance and has led to you experiencing more anxiety and stress lately. It is easy to get overwhelmed when everything seems not there yet. This is a time to remind yourself you do not have to do it all by yourself, and asking for help or relief is only going to benefit your life. As things are falling, just remember they are falling into place. There is room for you to let some things go for others to help. Try scheduling the smaller things into your plans and slowly reaching the goal you need to for you and your family's success this full moon. And that's very accurate to my life right now.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
very stressed,
Yeah.
very uncomfortable.
Yes. You have been like living in limbo for like it's been what,
Hmm.
3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
crazy. That's insane. Like that would
Yeah.
hurt anybody.
Yeah. So we're currently in the middle of like moving cross country. But our house has taken quite a bit longer to sell, and I think,
Yeah.
part of it is like the election and stuff too. So, yeah, but we've been like my husband's been traveling and it's just been a lot. So, it would be nice to finally move and all be together.
Yes. Oh my God.
So,
He's there. He's home for like what, a day or two in a week?
yeah, he's I think 3 days a week. So,
3 days. Okay.
yeah.
Which
Yeah.
can change at any moment, which days they are.
Yeah,
Oh my God. It's a lot.
it's been a lot, but Yeah, we've been getting through it obviously, but yeah, it's just been very stressful and I just want it to like, you know,
Be
be
over.
different.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you at all. I think that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so my card for this category was the Four of Swords upside down. So that represents more of a depletion, exhaustion, burnout, and disconnect in the body from the mind. Being very busy and overworked physically, and being overwhelmed with distractions because the inner voice becomes really loud when you're forced to sit still and just listen. During this full moon cycle, try not to ignore the love and tenderness your body needs. Your mind will constantly be trying to convince you that you haven't done enough or that you need more or less of something. Take time to lean into the silence and what your body needs. Don't allow your internal fears to take away from all the pleasure that you see externally that brings you true joy. Be patient and kind with your body while you learn to not only listen, but to cherish your body. Yeah, that's very uncomfortable for me. Yeah. So this to me definitely was talking about like self-esteem for a lot of it. You know, I mean being overworked and like physically exhausted, that's how I live my life. I don't remember ever not being overworked and physically
Yeah.
exhausted. Um but yeah, honestly, I've been really struggling with my relationship with my body. It's not great. I don't like the way that I look. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm pretty decently overweight. I have a lot of weight to lose. I've lost about 30 pounds so far in the last what 5 months or so, 5 6 months.
Mhm.
Um, so we're making progress. Progress is great, but it just never feels like it's good enough. Um, yeah. So this last month, um, I've tried really hard to just like maybe advocate for myself a little bit more. Um, I switched doctors and got my meds adjusted so that hopefully I will have some more energy to just do things during the day, keep up on housework, and find time to take the dogs for a walk every once in a while. And it's been helping. I've been on them only not even a week yet. Um, and it's been really helping with just balance, just feeling like maybe a little bit more of a normal person in my day than somebody
Mhm.
who's just exhausted 100% of the time. And I feel like I just exist as a blob half the time because I'm so
Yeah.
fucking tired. Like
Yeah.
autoimmune diseases are no joke. They are rough. But I'm happy with some of the progress. Like 30 pounds is not anything to scoff at. Like that's significant enough that I can look at that and be like, okay, yeah, I can definitely see a difference. Um, but lots more to go. And I don't know. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
The next category is where to refocus some of your energy instead. So what was your card? What did it mean?
Queen of Cups, right side up, represents intuition, compassion, and having an open heart. Queen of Cups shows the emotional stability in women as a strength, a woman who rules fairly and from the heart. You have incredibly honest and good intentions. You live a life of love and fairness. The emotional well being of those you love is a priority, and you do this through practicing that self love for yourself as well. You have had to put yourself in the back seat for so long, and you are seeing that the self love and care you do is only benefiting everyone in your life. Remember how strong you are when you stand in your intuition and compassion. So, I don't know.
I love that for you. It's so spot on.
Yeah, I feel like um yeah, I've always had a really strong intuition and obviously I'm a highly sensitive person, so I do have a lot of love to give and compassion and stuff like that, but um I think I've learned over the years, obviously, to give that to the right people
Right.
and um learned it the hard way kind of thing. Um but yeah, I feel like um giving myself that like love and rest that I need is just gonna help those around me succeed, and
Yeah.
giving myself like love and acceptance allows me to like give that to my kids as well. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think we talked about it a little bit the other day. Like, sometimes it feels like, you're pouring from an empty cup.
Yeah.
And I think I was like, girl, your cup is not empty, it's negative. Like,
Yeah.
you have
Yeah,
so
it's
much
been
going on, but you really are doing the best that you can. And like
mhm.
have that reassurance that you are doing everything that you can, even if it doesn't feel like enough, it is.
Yeah, I feel like I've learned a lot obviously like through the IFB and like really like throwing myself into like all of the religion and everything, and how I got burnt out so quickly because I was
Yeah.
just giving and giving all of the time, and like realizing that you can't just be constantly giving to other people. You need to like, allow yourself to rest and give to yourself too.
Yeah.
Um and yeah, I've learned that quite a bit like through a lot in the past and stuff. But I think
Yeah.
that we're in a better place now. It's just
We have some hard
oh,
days, and that's
yeah.
okay. But yeah, like the idea, like the concept of rest just for the sake of resting, is pretty much non-existent in the IFB. Everything has
Mhm.
to have a purpose. Everything has to have like some biblical backing or some goal that you're trying to achieve for God or something. Like
Yeah.
the idea of self-care is so, it's considered prideful, and
Mhm.
it's not considered something that,
It's not like productive
it's
at all.
not, yeah, it's not productive, it's not honoring God.
Yeah.
Even though when you take care of yourself, like these are the same people that say your body is a temple,
Yeah.
and don't understand the concept of self-care. Like the math isn't mathing again.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah.
I remember I had to like come to a point where it was like probably my junior to senior year where I was just having so many migraines, and I think
Yeah.
it was just from like being so involved in so much and having a lot of stress, and yeah, I ended up having crippling migraines to the point where like I almost didn't graduate because I was like absent for so many days.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it was hard because it's like I don't really know what to tell you when I'm like driving home from school because they I would get them like in school, right? And then I would sense that they were going to become a migraine. So I'm like,
Right.
fuck, I need to leave. And I would literally be driving home. And the second I got home, I would throw up. And
Wow.
it's like I was having those constantly. And so, um, yeah, it was hard. And it's like, it's something that I've had to learn obviously throughout the years that like I do have like debilitating migraines and
Yeah.
headaches, and they've been chronic since as long as I can remember. And it can be really hard to live life with like whether it is different illnesses or chronic pain and stuff. It's like it's hard to give from a negative cup, right? Like
Yeah.
where like we kind of start with like less than what other people have, and
Oh God. Okay. This is my cat, Lulu. Sorry, she decided to interrupt today. Continue.
um but yeah, I think that it's easy to get in like that mindset of like not being worthy enough.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's just like if everyone feels this way, but I feel like it's a very much an IFB mindset that I've
Yeah.
noticed, especially in women, where like you just don't ever feel worthy and
No.
like you're not doing enough, you're not being enough, you're never enough kind of thing.
Yep.
And it sucks because like I feel like we both feel this when we're like in our deepest darkest moments. We're just like
Yeah.
we're not enough. It doesn't matter what we do, nothing matters. Like
Yep.
that's kind of like our inner, unfortunately, our
Yeah.
inner voice like in the deepest darkest times. And
Yeah.
that's something that I think we both need to work on
We do.
changing and like fixing what they kind of broke within us,
Yeah.
right? Um but
Well,
yeah.
and it's I don't know, the concept of an inner child I think is really hard for me because you think of your inner child and you think of, carefree, innocence and like those kinds of things. Like I think normal people think of their inner child like that. But like when you grow up in a cult, um that's not what your inner child is. Like my inner child never got to be, if that makes sense. Like I never just got to be a kid, it felt like, just because, you're indoctrinated from such a young age.
Yeah.
That, like, I don't know, it just doesn't really exist.
Yeah, I think that one of the cards talks about like your inner child for you too.
Yeah.
Um but
That one's going to
the
make me
fact
cry.
that it's just yeah, I just feel like we are taught to grow up so quickly with the
Yes.
mindset of like, you know, having to save the world from this burning hell that we
Right.
truly believe exists and doing everything in our power to save those around us and those that we love and all the things. And it's a huge burden to put on kids, like to
Yeah.
believe that the world depends on you, basically. That everyone needs to be saved and like that you're the one that's going to do that. It's
Yeah.
a huge task. Like, what
Unfortunately,
the
you
hell?
can't do that when you're 5 years old. Like,
Yeah, and it's it's really scary and just stressful and it's a lot and I would never ever ever tell my child that. Like
yeah.
she is my children, both my children, but especially my daughter, she is a highly sensitive person just like me,
Yep.
and there's no way in hell I'm going to tell her any of
Yeah.
this anytime soon. Like
I don't think she would
I
ever recover. Like I genuinely, like,
no.
if your daughter heard all of this right now and like was being taught the same things,
Yeah.
like she
No,
would
I
not be okay, man.
she would not be okay. There would be so many questions for her all the time and fears and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. There was a lot of anxiety, obviously, when I was pregnant with her, and a lot of it had to do with my religion and stuff and surrounding like, do
Yeah.
I teach them this? If I don't, are they gonna go to hell? Blah blah blah, like all the things. And I've learned to kind of just like not care anymore because I think that once I had her and once she was with me and everything, I realized that I was making the right decision for myself and my family.
Yeah.
And now that I like really know her heart and stuff and how sensitive and vulnerable kids
Yeah.
are, like it's like I don't want to shatter like their beautiful mindset that they have like coming
Yeah.
into the world. It's just so uh, innocent and they think the world of you and their dad, like their parents, their grandparents, they think the world of so many people
Yeah.
and they think the most positive that they could ever think of everything, right? And to like shatter that mindset, I'm like, why would I
It's
ever want to do
cruel.
that? And like the world's gonna do that
Yeah.
to them, like shit happens, life is hard, you have to get through struggles and stuff like that, and
But
that's
you don't
just
need
what
to
life
do that when you're
is.
5.
Yeah, I'm like I'm not, gonna intentionally make her feel like the world depends on her.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
just some more IFB ridiculousness. We love it.
yes. What was your card? We haven't said
Um,
yours, right?
no. Okay, so in the category of like where to refocus energy, my card was the Five of Pentacles right side up. So this represents a misfortune, loss, or hard time. This shows that something from your past needs a little more focus to keep the future on your, or, okay, a little more focus to keep the future on the path you most desire. There was a misfortune that caused a lot of hard times in your life. It affects your everyday life, and there is a healing path that this leads to as long as you continue to nurture and guide these hard times with perseverance. This will lead you to a place where healing happens and it contributes to your dream versus hinders it. Keep up all that you are doing currently and keep your focus on the journey. Um so for me this is talking about my relationship. Um so the boundaries that we have set in our relationship, you know, there's some things that we're okay talking about with anybody and some things that we're only okay sharing with certain people, and then there are some things that we have chosen just for each other's peace of mind that we only share with each other or our therapist. um, so I'm not going to go into a lot of details about why I feel like this is talking about my relationship. um, but it's you know, we were in the roommate phase for a while and it was really really hard to get out of that. um I'm very thankful we're not there now. I love my relationship, I love my person so much, and I love the way that we are with each other.
Mm-hmm.
um but it's taken a lot of work, and I think that this to me was just kind of like a reiteration that like we can't get there again. Like there can be no coasting if you want your marriage, your relationship to be successful. I'm not saying that you're not allowed to have bad days or that you're not allowed to like, you know, not do every single thing all the time. And that
Mm-hmm.
gives anybody a right to leave. But like just in general, the constant effort that needs to be put into maintaining a mutually beneficial, healthy, loving relationship, it is a lot of effort. And for a long time, I, you know, wasn't really putting it in. I was just, you know, we've been together for so long, nobody's going to leave. It is what it is, the end.
Mm-hmm.
And neither of us really put in the effort that each other deserved. Um, so this is just kind of to me talking about, you know, some of those things. So I don't know. It was kind of a good eye opener because I feel like, you know, as we started this podcast, we've, you know, my work has been getting busier lately and I'm working on, you know, trying to get a promotion and things. Like I just feel like I've got so many other focuses other than just my relationship, and sometimes it does fall low in the priority list. Um
Yeah.
and it needs to not. So like for me this was a really good reminder to just kind of refocus a little bit on, you know, the person and the thing that matters most to me in this world.
Yeah. That's weird because the way that I read this was like um your past experiences and things like that. Like I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking kind of like your abuse and stuff.
Yeah.
Um and that like through the podcast and everything and through like the Facebook group and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like it is providing you healing.
And I mean it definitely is. It
Yeah.
absolutely is. Like no doubt about it. Um I just honestly, yeah, like my relationship and some of the stuff that we've been through was the first thing that popped into my mind. I think, you know, a lot of things could fit this, and I think that's definitely one of them.
No, I think
Um
that it probably just like the way that you read it is probably just what's at the forefront of your mind
yeah.
at the moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
and yeah. So,
Cuz yeah, if I'm like cuz if I'm thinking about something from my past that, you know, would need a little bit more attention, I feel like the trauma from my past in the IFB gets a lot of attention.
mhm,
Um, you know, I have you, I have good friends, I have my therapist, I have Theo. Like I have people that genuinely care about me and want to make sure that I'm okay, and like, you know,
mhm,
people that will be here to talk about it if I want to talk about it, and you know, I have the podcast where I talk about it a lot, so I
Yeah.
feel like that part of
Whether
it
you hear it
gets,
or not.
I know, right? But that part of it gets a lot of attention, I think. And honestly, I think that, starting the podcast and everything, like doing this extra thing has, it's diverted some of my energy, some of my physical and emotional and mental resources. Like it can be really draining to talk about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that there's a couple of other cards that are definitely a little bit more like, oh yep, that's definitely about the abuse, 100%, no doubt about it. So those are going to be fun to
Okay.
talk about.
What's the next one?
The next one is a past experience to let go of.
Okay. The star upside down represents uninspired, in the dark, and adrift type feelings. In your past, there were clouds in your sky, and your North Star did not shine brightly. Many times you felt lost and had little guidance in your true journey. This lack of light in your life causes feelings of distrust and discouragement for the universe and the world around you. Knowing there were times in your life where you had no star and you still managed to find your way under the moonlight is so powerful. When you have feelings of that darkness during this full moon cycle, remind yourself how you have always created your own star, and you will get through any tough times that are happening and coming. So for me, I feel like obviously this has a lot to do with finding myself
Yeah.
and um finding myself like through the IFB, because once you lose your bubble and like once the bubble bursts and once you're in deconstruction and questioning things, it is very much like, what do I do now? Like what are my morals now? Where, like, what's my like inner compass? Like, you feel like you have no northern star, right? Like you feel like you have no purpose, and um like you need something to like stabilize you, I don't know, like hold you down, like anchor
That makes
you.
sense. Yeah.
um but it's been a journey learning that like I technically don't need anything to like anchor me down.
Yeah.
uh I don't need anything or anyone. I have everything I need within myself. And that's been a huge journey of learning
Yeah.
that and trusting myself and trusting my inner, like, in my intuition and doing what feels right to me and following
Yep.
um following my compassion and like my understanding and stuff like that, like following what I feel like is good things in my
Right.
life has made it like, you know has made me believe what I believe, right? And
Right.
um has forced me to kind of make my own pathway and my own star and everything, with like whether it's parenting or like
Mm-hmm.
uh life's rules and morals and things like that. Like that's something I've had to like establish for myself, because
Mm-hmm.
post cult and IFB and like heavy religion, it's like, what do I do now? And you kind of just have to pick
Yeah.
up the pieces and um realize that there are good people in the world, and people that have never even been in a religion at all. Like, they can be good people and they exist, and
Right.
it's not scary. And, the world isn't as scary as they've made it out to be. And I feel like
Yeah.
it was really, really hard to learn that, especially from a super anxious, sensitive person. Fear being like a huge controlling thing growing up, and having to get over that fear and push myself outside of my comfort zone and do things I've never done before and try things I've never tried before and allow myself to trust myself, you know? Um it's been a huge journey, like, just finding myself again and, like, allowing
Yeah.
myself to find myself because when we were kids and when we were teenagers and college students, like, those are the times you're supposed to do that, like, mess around and find yourself and know like, understand yourself,
Yeah.
and we never really got those things.
No,
We
not at
were
all.
told what we needed to do and told our futures, and we weren't really allowed to decide any of those things for ourselves or to try things or test things or whatever. And so that's been definitely a journey for me.
Yeah. I think going from like, I believe what I believe because I'm scared of the consequences if I don't,
Mhm.
versus I believe what I believe because I've done research on this thing, because I've questioned it, because you know, I know enough to make an informed decision. Like going from those two different points of view, like, it's really scary because there is a good amount of work involved in figuring out your
Yeah.
morals and your beliefs like post cult,
Mhm.
because you're starting from scratch. Like you have to
Yeah.
undo everything that's already been taught to you, and you're just like, okay, what now? Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah, for sure. What's your
um
card?
okay, so past experience to let go of. I got the Seven of Swords right side up. So this represents more of a deception, discreet and secretive parts from the past. There were times when you were put in positions that you felt like you had to keep secrets. Participating in these kinds of deception activities really caused you some internal struggles with fully knowing how worthy you already are/were. During this full moon, it's going to help to practice letting go of that shame that you feel from being forced into being a lock and key. Letting go of this shame will be a key to your growth and success on your healing journey. Yep, this is definitely about the abuse.
Yeah.
No getting around that one.
Yeah.
Um, I've talked about it a little bit before, but just in case, like, this is anybody's first time listening, being molested as a kid, I was told several times, don't tell anyone, don't tell anyone. But even beyond that, being in you know, the abuse happening in a cult, like, even if nobody had told me not to tell, I still wouldn't have felt like I could tell.
Yeah.
Like, even if nobody said, don't tell anybody what I'm doing to you, which he did several times, but even if he never said that, I wouldn't have been able, like, it's not an environment where you can tell somebody that that's happening. Um, so yeah, even after it all came out and I had an interview with a detective, like, I remember lying to the detective. I couldn't tell her everything because I
Mhm.
was scared of the consequences for Daniel. Um, yeah, and I think that I have, throughout this whole process of, you know, telling my story, being, going more public with it, um, I have been 100% truthful about every single thing that happened. And that has been very uncomfortable. And,
Yeah.
but it's also been really, really important because there are people that don't believe me. There are a lot of people that don't believe me. Um, there are a lot of people from the church, like, some that I've had conversations with personally, and some that I just know because of how the church is and how you're taught to think in the church. Um, that will say, "Oh, she wanted it," or "She led him on." Like, that's a conversation I've had with somebody recently. They were told about my situation. "Oh no, she wanted it. It was all consensual. She's just doing this for attention." Um, I didn't want it. It was not consensual. I'm not just doing this for attention. Just to
I
set the
mean,
record clear.
let's just talk about how a child can't consent to anything, so,
Yeah. Yeah.
let's just say that. Shut
Yep.
the fuck up.
Actually. Um but yeah, telling the truth is new for me. I'll be honest, like even into adulthood, like it's been really hard for me to be truthful about things that are that don't put me in a good light. Like I
Hmm.
really struggle with owning up to mistakes. Um,
Yeah.
I used to kind of be one of those people that would just say, "Oh, I'm the first to admit when I'm wrong. I'll call myself on and everything," and thinking that just hating on myself was the same as acknowledging mistakes and trying to do better, which
Yeah.
it's not. Um, so like growing up a little bit more and like understanding the difference between preaching and practicing, right? Just saying things that
Mhm.
I think people want to hear and then actually practicing taking ownership of my mistakes and, you know, genuinely trying to do better. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been tough, but it's also been really important. And I think that I've only really like started trying really hard in the past year ish. So I'm a little baby truth teller. Is where we're at right now, but working on it every day, getting better every day. It's all
Yeah,
good.
I think that like we've talked about before with the ladies, just that um the way that we grew up, I feel like made it really hard for us to want to tell the truth.
Yeah.
And the way that lying was very much, I don't know, like demonized in every way
Yeah.
possible.
Well,
Even if you're lying about the stupidest shit ever, it was like if
it's
you lie, you
literally
lie.
it's literally used in the IFB to tell children that they're going to hell. Like
Hmm.
when somebody is giving the salvation message to children, they're just like, "Oh, have you ever sinned?" Because, the chronology of how you get saved is acknowledge that you've sinned, repent for your sins, and accept Jesus into your heart, and then you'll be saved and go to heaven when you die.
Hmm.
So the first step is, acknowledge that you sinned.
Yeah, you have
So
to know what a sin is the
exactly.
first
So,
step.
you teach children, like young children, like 4, 5, 6. Well, have you ever sinned? Oh no, I've never sinned. I'm such a good person. Blah blah blah. Have you ever lied to your mom? Like that's the first thing that they say.
Hmm.
And be like, oh yeah, yeah, I've lied to my mom. Blah blah blah. Whatever. They'd be like, oh well, then you deserve to burn in hell for all eternity.
Right. Right. Yeah.
That follows. Okay.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So no,
Yeah.
lying is such a big fear thing in the IFB. They literally use it to tell children that they're going to go to hell.
Yeah. I think that the craziest part for me is like, um, lying is very much, uh, an instinctual thing to do to like
Yeah.
protect yourself to self.
Hmm.
It's like for like, survival instincts is to
Hmm.
like lie. So like and it's because of protecting yourself usually is like the first lies you say are
Yeah.
usually just to protect yourself. You're afraid of like what other people are going to think of you. You're afraid that your mom's going to get mad or your dad's going to get
Right.
mad if he finds out that you spilt the milk or whatever it is, he that you broke something. It's all about like self protection, right? And
Yeah.
a lot of times then it turns into protecting others, right? Like lying to protect other people too. Um so to me, I don't fully get like saying that lying is like gonna send you to hell and like
Yeah.
that it's
That it's like
comparable
a
to
hundred percent
murder.
wrong all the time.
Like that it's literally comparable to murder like on the
Yeah.
commandments and shit. And it's like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but a lie with like just little things like that or a lie to like self protect yourself or someone else, to me at least it has like a meaning behind it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
see any harm in that. I think obviously there are harmful lies,
A
but
100%.
for me it's like with my kids I'm never going to be like straight up when they're little especially. I remember like the very first times that Arya had ever like lied or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is weird. Like, my instinct is to be like, don't lie to me. Don't ever lie to me.
Yeah.
Because that's how I grew up, right? And that's
Yep.
how we were told and taught and everything. And I was like, no, because like if I say that to her, if I like make her remember this point of me being like, don't you ever lie to me, like I'm just making it like this fear-based thing where she's not going to want to come to me to tell me
Mm-hmm.
anything because she's afraid of me. And, you know, like the whole fear, parenting through fear
Yeah.
is a whole thing in itself. But like, I don't want my kids to be scared of me. I want them to come to me when they need me and
Mm.
to know that I'm going to be there for them when they need me because they owe me nothing at all.
Yeah.
They didn't even choose to be here. I made them be here, literally, quite literally made them. And like all like as parents, we just have to like nurture them and make sure that they can like go out in the world on their own someday, right?
Mm-hmm.
And um giving them the much like all the support and everything that they need. And to me, I don't ever want them to be scared of me and to like lie to me because they're afraid of the way that I'm going to react or the way
Yep.
that I'm whatever. Um so for me I was very much like, "Oh, are you joking? Like are you just telling a joke? Are you making up a story? Is that what you're
Mm-hmm.
doing? You're making up a story?" And it really helped her kind of like understand because I feel like when kids are little, they're kind of they do have like these creative minds and they need to like have a creative outlet, right, for these
Right.
different things. And that allowed her to kind of get that like feeling of like wanting to lie for some reason into like telling jokes and telling and being like silly, right? And so she would just be like, "Oh, brother did this, blah blah blah." She's like, "I'm joking. It was just a joke." And
That's cute.
so instead of like us talking about how like lying is never okay and blah 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 blah, like I never had that talk with her.
Yeah.
I just kind of flipped it and changed it into a different thing completely. And
Yeah.
she hasn't really lied to me at all since then. And um, if anything, I'm like, you know, if anything ever happens, like, I want you to talk to me and like tell me. And like, I tell her that like secrets aren't okay. Like, we don't keep secrets and like stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, but yeah, I think that the whole idea of like lying being a horrific sin isn't always true. I would say especially when it comes to children. Like
Agreed. Agreed. Definitely.
they're children, they don't know what
Yeah.
they're doing. They don't understand like a lot of
Yeah.
consequences and stuff. An
Telling your
adult
mom that,
though,
well, yeah.
an adult, an adult, you know, lying about having a secret family
Yeah.
and lying about, you know,
Abuse not
having
happening when
sex
it
with
did.
yes, exactly.
Cheating.
Having
Yeah.
sex with teenagers and then somehow
Mm-hmm.
it being like the
Mm-hmm.
teenager's fault that
Yep.
they sinned. Like own
Yep.
up to your shit. God.
Yeah. No, lying in an adult, like especially for things like that, is just not acceptable. It's
Yeah.
just
It's like
disgusting.
you're just too afraid to like face consequences and then you're like trying to teach your kids that the same like thing that like consequences exist, but then you don't want to face your own consequences.
I know.
I don't know.
Like, think about what kind of example you're setting for your children. Come on.
They don't. They just think with their penises, apparently.
Facts. Okay, so the next one is a useful past experience to draw from. What you got?
Okay. A, a useful past experience. Okay. I believe it is Four of Swords, right side up. Represents recharge, savasana, rest in your past, moments where you could exist as a child and peacefully. So are the memories you can draw strength from for your self-love journey. Doing absolutely nothing during times when it feels like you must do everything is an incredible challenge but one that is needed for your soul to continue living in such love. Facing the challenges in life becomes so much easier when you can recharge and gain the rest needed to move through with compassion. Keep this memory close to you while you move through this full moon so that you can truly experience rest.
That's some good advice.
I like that, like the idea of kind of like bringing yourself back to your childhood self and like allowing yourself to kind of pull from those memories and
Mm-hmm.
feelings of like, I would say like, of like true rest and stuff and like
Yeah.
true I feel like I often find myself remembering uh the times when I was like sick and stuff and my
Mm.
mom was like I would be sleeping and my mom would like come and check on me and then like I would wake up to food and soup and like all the things and like
Yeah.
just like savoring and like that feeling of like really truly being like taken care of. I
Yeah.
I like really miss those feelings and it sucks when it's like shit, I'm the mom. You're like you're
I gotta
sick
do it
and
now.
yeah, it's like I'm sick and everything, but I'm the mother, so I have to do it.
Right?
And it's like it's such a weird feeling. Like when you become
Yeah.
a parent, like an adult and stuff, and like when you're sick for the first time without your
I
family,
know. I
and it's just
know.
like, what the hell?
What do I even do now?
Yeah.
I will say, having a partner that babies you when you need to be babied
Hmm.
is, for me, it's essential. Like
Yeah.
I need that. Like, okay, we call it EBDB. So it's EP baby dragon burrito mode. So I'm just like, I need EBDB treatment today. Like, okay, so it used to just be like burrito mode, and he would like throw a shit ton of blankets on me and roll me up like a burrito and give me chocolate, and it was excellent. And then it escalated to this EBDB stuff because when we're dragons, we lay on the bed and the other person like puts all the bunch of blankets over us and covers us with pillows, and we just feel all cozy in our little dragon cave. So yeah, it's EBTV mode. We have that in our house, and it's excellent.
Yeah,
And
I
we,
know.
like, we
I
both need it from time to time.
seriously, I just feel like I try to channel like my mom with like obviously the way that I mother my kids and stuff and like try to be there for them as much as possible when they're sick. Like to the point where like if a child is sick, I usually want them to sleep with me. Like I'm like I want to be able to watch you
That's
24/7.
fair.
And obvious and like especially Arya like wants to sleep with me when she's not feeling good. So, um yeah, but it's definitely hard to see your kids sick and um but it's also really hard being like a sick mom too, I feel.
Yeah,
Um but yeah,
that's fair.
kind of like the way I see it is like kind of taking from your inner child and allowing yourself to like either be taken care of or whatever and
Yeah,
um, yeah, that we all need to be spoiled every once in a while
everybody
feeling.
does. Everybody deserves that. Absolutely.
What is
Um.
your
Okay, so my useful past experience to draw from. I got the Ten of Wands upside down. So this represents more of a martyr, resentment and heaviness in your lifetime. Martyrdom has been part of your requirements of life for a long time, or so you've been trained. It has become almost like a duty for you to wield and protect from guilt, victimization, and helplessness of those who hurt you from before. You're on a path right now that is starting to let go of that protection of your violators. Knowing you are using your voice to call out the ones who created that harm is allowing your inner self or child to see how strong you really are. You are letting go of being the victim and shamed to being a victim who took her power back. Keep drawing strength from these memories, and you will see how strong you've always been. Fuck.
These damn cards.
Yeah, I feel very called out. Yeah, all of that hits pretty heavy. Um, where I don't even know where to start. Like, protecting the people that abused you. It sucks. I feel a lot of guilt around that. Um, when everything came out and my parents and everybody knew about the molestation, what Daniel had done, you know, I didn't even recognize it as abuse. When I finally told somebody, I told my cousin that I had a boyfriend. Like, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Um, as when I was 13, and Daniel had his court date. um, I wrote a victim impact statement, and I wrote about how sorry I was and that I hope this doesn't ruin his life and that I hope he can forgive me. And I made it very clear to my parents and the detective and everybody. I'm just like, I don't want him to get in trouble. It was my fault. I'm sorry. Like, I have a lot of regret about that. Um, I don't know that it's necessarily fair because I was 13 and had been abused for several years at that point. But yeah, I have protected a lot of people who did not deserve it.
I feel like a
I've,
lot of that is like 100% like grooming.
oh yeah.
Um, I think a lot of people feel the same way that you do when they're in a situation like that, and especially like being groomed for so long and
Yeah.
really truly believing that they have like your best interest at heart and that they love you and
Yep.
the things like you believe those things. You believe what they tell you. And the fact that you're like you were protecting them, that like it's just because you truly thought that they loved you and you love them, right?
Yep.
And it's part of the whole grooming situation. And I would just like try to remember that because it's not that part's like it's not your fault that you were groomed. Like it
Yeah.
100% not your fault. And for you to believe those things and feel those things, like it's not your fault. There's no reason for you to feel guilt for protecting him when that's legitimately what grooming is. It's like, it's
Yeah.
fucking with your head so that you
Yeah.
believe that all of this is your fault and that
Yep.
he does love you even though he's fucking way older than you and you have no way of consenting to this relationship or love. Right?
Yeah.
Like you don't know any of that. You're a child, you don't know any of that. And it's hard
Yeah.
for you to distinguish it. And that's why people like to groom children because children
Yeah.
aren't like the smartest, okay?
No. We don't know any better when
They
we're
don't know and
kids.
exactly. So they're easy targets and these motherfuckers deserve to all burn in hell if there is a hell. So,
Yeah. And I think like the other part of this is like the victimization part.
yeah.
I think for me, like, I feel like I have lived in this, oh, I'm a victim and everything is not my fault, and like, I like deflection of any kind of blame, like most of my adult life. Um, I think
Like
part
kind
of
of
that,
allowing it to define you.
yeah. And I think part of that is because I wasn't really allowed to feel like a victim as a kid,
Yeah.
even though I was.
Hmm.
So that's definitely part of it. And the other part is if I'm, you know, I get attention when I play a victim. Like when I have that victim mentality, people want to take care of me if I
Mhm.
victimize myself. Um, and again, like that doesn't really feel great to say out loud, but that's the truth. And I think a lot of that comes from, again, like not getting healthy, good attention as a kid. Like that's definitely part of it.
And I
But
mean,
still,
that
like,
was a big part of, like, what made you susceptible to grooming.
yeah. But, as an adult, um, having a victim mentality is just, while it's understandable and there are
Mhm.
reasons I can point to why I felt like that and why I acted like that, um, it doesn't make me feel good to look back at that. It does it that's not who I want to be.
Yeah.
Um, and kind of like changing your entire mindset around that is really hard. Like that's been a really hard thing. I think that's probably been the hardest thing I've ever done and tried to do in my adult life is stop acting like a fucking victim all the time. Never
Yeah.
taking responsibility for anything. Like that's oh, it's hard. And it doesn't really feel good because when it all comes crashing in and you kind of realize like I've been acting like this for years and not taking any responsibility for anything for years, and like that pattern of behavior and all of the instances just kind of like hit you in the face. It's really disgusting feeling. It does not feel good. Um I'm very thankful for therapy because that's helped a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I There are definitely times where I still find a lot of comfort in the label of a victim because if I look at 8-year-old, 9-year-old Josie, she was a victim. She didn't get to feel like it. She wasn't allowed to
Yeah.
feel like it, and I take a lot of comfort in the label of a victim, for kid me because she needed that and she didn't get it.
Mhm.
um like I can recognize that and at the same time be like, okay, this is not who I want to be as an adult. This doesn't serve me anymore to feel like this, to
Yeah.
treat myself like a victim, and all of the negative things that come with that, all of the negative self-esteem, like all of the things, like the behavior that hurts other people when I act like that, like that's not who I want to be. That's not the person that I want to
Mhm.
be today as an adult. Like I want to be better than that. I want to be more than that. Um so that's just not who I want to be anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that a lot of victims like to say that they're survivors rather than victims.
Yeah.
Um, but I also feel like it's okay to allow yourself to have that time when you
Yeah,
need it
definitely.
to remember that you were a victim, and that's okay
Yeah.
to, like, feel all of the feelings that you need to, especially for healing purposes and everything. But yeah, I would say, um, that I think that it's, like, obviously you're changing a lot and, like, healing a
Yeah.
lot, and it's been, like, really cool watching you through the journey, and,
Thanks.
just hoping, obviously, to, like, provide more support and stuff and, like, just keep allowing you to be able to, like, have a voice and feel like you're
Yeah.
making a change in the world and
Yeah.
in yourself.
Yeah. All right, I don't want to talk about myself anymore. We're moving on. So our next category is something to nurture and cultivate. What you got?
I have, 3 of Pentacles right side up. Represents teamwork, collaboration, and a type of healthy synergy. Paying attention to the people, partners in your life who are creating a safe space for you is crucial to your success. Teamwork is especially important during this full moon cycle to ensure your foundation is strong for your success and safety. There are things happening at home and in work life that include a type of collaboration. and this will continue to be a success. Hang in there and continue to walk this path of constructive collaboration. And I just feel like that talks about us
Yeah.
and the podcast and us working together and everything.
Yeah.
Whether that's, killing monsters in Valheim
Yes. We
or
kill a lot of
editing
monsters.
and all the things. So, yeah. I think that I for sure I would agree that I definitely do better like with teamwork and with someone that is a little more like driven and type A personality in comparison to
Oh,
me.
yeah.
I am not.
No.
I
We
am not.
in like I don't know, you can look at
I
any
think we
situation.
balance we
Yeah.
balance each other out for sure.
I think so too. I think you can look at any situation where like we have done work together, like even using Valheim as an example. Okay, so when we built our first house in Valheim, I built it. It's square and it's got a roof and it's very boring. It's functional and I didn't spend any more time on it than I needed to. When Christy built her house in Valheim, it's got a beachfront view. It's got all of these little lights and decorations everywhere. She's got like this
Yes.
little dragon wolf head thingy over our fireplace. Like,
Yes.
we, like, she spent a lot of time on that. I went and chopped wood. That was my contribution. Like, like, and, you look at the podcast and, like, usually, when we edit, like, you'll go through and make it look pretty. And then I go through and do, like, the boring stuff that I like to do. I like to re-listen to it and make cuts and, do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Like, and, when it comes to even scheduling guests, like, I mostly run our calendar because I like to stay pretty organized and I like to know what's
Yeah.
going on and plan my life around that. Like, and it's just, yeah, we complement each other, I think, well. We balance each other well.
I think it works out really well and we've made a really good team. So I'm glad that we ended up actually doing this together because
I
I
did
think
too.
it works out well and we help each other through different things
Yeah.
and yeah. But
I
yeah,
think so
I
too.
feel like I think I struggle with not giving everything 100%. Like, I mean, like I do. So like when I
Yeah.
want to do something, I like will do it all out. I don't really like to not do it all out, and it's just I don't know
Yeah.
why I'm like
I
that,
think
but
it's interesting. I think it's interesting, the way that we are and our perspective on what all out means. Because for you, all out is like, this is going to be the best, biggest, beautiful thing that I can do. And for me, all out is, how can I do this most efficiently and just get it done quickly so I can do the next task and do it well. That's what all out is for me, is like,
yeah,
what's the quickest, most accurate way that I can get this done.
yeah, you're efficient, and I'm just I don't know, creative,
You're very
100%.
creative. You're incredibly creative. Like, I remember when we were first coming up with like little podcast designs and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cute, and just like, give me a minute. I made this whole big fucking, like, this is purple and we're gonna do this here and this looks great here, and I'm just like, yep, that works for me. Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably should get a job of some sort of creative something. But I just have the podcast for now. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
we're doing it.
I think we make a good team.
I think so too.
Okay. What is next?
Okay, so my nurture and cultivate card is the Lovers, right side up.
Mm.
Oh, this is gonna be a little embarrassing. So this represents love, alignment, and choices. During this full moon, you'll want to nurture things that bring you love and pleasure. These things are going to
Mm.
strengthen the love and desire between you and your partner, Mind, body, and soul are going to be feeling this nurturing. Desire is something that needs to be paid attention to frequently. I can already feel myself getting red. Uh, lots of sexual tension. Playing and listening to your
Desire.
body with this person is going to bring the most pleasure to you. This will also help align you closer with your own personal values that will dedicate to the success of your journey. Practice teasing and build-ups, rewards and gratification during this cycle. Woo!
Like we
I'm
struggle with
so
the
red.
words pleasure
so
and
red.
desire.
Yeah. So without saying too much, I have great sex. Yeah, no complaints. Everything's awesome. And I think that like both of us are pretty adventurous, and we like, you know, trying some new things. And yeah, we just recently did some new stuff that was pretty fun. Yep, I think that's probably as specific as I should be right now, because
Yeah,
otherwise I will
things are
die
things
of
are nice and
redness.
healthy.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm also like, I'll talk about this for a minute, but like, so this also means to me like, so sex for me, I've only ever had sex with one person, and sex for me is very important. It's very special. I think like my relationship with sex after abuse has been kind of difficult to enjoy. Like, it's been difficult for me to see sex as a good thing, or at least it was like in the beginning of our relationship. So it's been kind of hard to like enjoy sex. Not that I have ever like not consented or not wanted it or anything like that. Like, let's make that very clear right now. I've also never not had at least like 2 orgasms. So that's great for me. So
Which is huge within the IFB culture.
it is, yeah. Most like no religion, IFB, evangelicalism, so much of it, like there's zero focus on women having orgasms or having any kind of pleasure during sex. Like the role of the woman in sex is just to simply be available,
Yeah.
and that's stupid. Because orgasms are excellent, and I think everybody should have them. So yeah, it's definitely been a journey, like learning to not feel guilty about enjoying sex, because like my perception of sex before I started actually having it was very different. So yeah, that's just kind of been its own journey. And I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about all of that in detail, but like, I'm glad that I have great sex. I'm proud that I have great sex, because it's
I think
taken a minute to
I'd
get
have
here.
to I'd have to agree with like sexuality being like something awkward and like
Yeah.
I don't know, like weird to explore post IFB because it's like
Yeah.
you've been told two different things, polar opposite things, right? Where it's like it's evil, it's not good. Okay, don't ever do anything
Yeah.
ever to yourself or anyone.
But the
Get
minute you
married.
sign a marriage license,
Yeah, get married and do everything and enjoy everything and this is what God wanted you to do and enjoy it. It's
yep.
really hard to process those things
Yeah.
because it's like, okay, I wasn't supposed to be doing this before, but now I have to enjoy it and I don't even know, like whatever, like you aren't taught anything about anything.
Yep.
Maybe you're taught something like a week before your marriage or the night before, who
Yeah, if
knows?
you're lucky.
Yeah, but I would say just like never really experimenting sexually in any way has been like such a weird thing like to kind of face as an adult because it's like,
Yeah.
well, I never had the chance to like do different things or see what I liked or whatever, right? And so it's like
Yeah.
you kind of do carry this guilt a little bit surrounding sexuality and like things that you'd like to try or whatever, right? And so it's
Yeah.
cool that you're able to not feel those things and that you are able
Yeah.
to like actually explore it comfortably with your partner and everything.
Yeah,
Because I
I
feel
think
like a lot of
like
people are stuck with that guilt and like
yeah.
not allowing yourself to be like open and
I think that
vulnerable.
open communication with your partner, especially around sex, is so important. Like it cannot be overstated how important communication is. Um like especially when it comes to sex. I think that is probably the most important part of sex is what do I like, what don't I like, and
Hmm.
telling your partner. Cuz like if you're sitting there like, "Oh, I just have to be available. I'm just going to lie here until he's done." Like
Well,
that's
like, yeah, if you don't
bullshit.
know better, that's kind
Yeah.
of all you're gonna do. And you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess this is what it is. Like,
Yeah. And that sucks. Like
yeah,
like you don't nobody should feel like that. That's
right.
not what sex is supposed to be. And also like I think also and this for men and women, mostly men, when your partner says something to you like I would like to try this or maybe we could do this differently, don't have a tantrum about it.
Or like
Like
get offended.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's not because you're not great. Maybe you
Hmm.
aren't great, but like it's not because you're not great and because they don't love you. But everybody in a consensual relationship deserves to feel pleasure during sex.
Hmm.
And if you have a problem with that, you are the problem, homies. Cuz
Yeah.
that's not acceptable.
Yeah. Don't be one of those guys that doesn't know how to pleasure a woman
Yeah.
and also allow the space to like talk about sexual things and
Mhm.
stuff you'd like to try or whatever. And
Yeah.
um yeah, like just don't. And I just feel like it has been like a crazy journey recovering from like IFB, especially like with sexuality and stuff like that and like figuring
Yeah.
yourself out and like knowing what you like and all the things. And um I hope that like people hear this and like don't feel so bad about like feeling guilty about certain things and like just allow
Yeah.
yourself to try things. Like that's why we're doing this reading, right? Like
Exactly. Trying all the new
allow
things.
yourself to try new things, allow yourself to open up to things because you never know. It could be better than you ever thought it could be, but if you don't do anything to change it or if you don't put
Mhm.
yourself in an uncomfortable position to like ask for things to change, it's never going to happen, right? And
Yeah.
like in my mind, you only live one life, right? Like to me, I don't see an afterlife really, right?
Mhm.
So living this life to the fullest and doing whatever you can to make this life better for you and live it to the fullest is like the way that I see all of it. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know, do everything you can to like communicate and learn how to communicate and to fix things and to make them better and all the things and be happy.
And
Like
have
you deserve to be
orgasms.
happy. You deserve to be happy. Yeah.
All right. Our next category is next steps on your healing journey. What you got?
I have Two of Pentacles upside down. Oh, wait, no, not that one.
Not that
Seven
one.
of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles right side up represents patience, investments, and sustainability. You have been working incredibly hard and struggling to see your seeds in full bloom yet. This is a strength of yours. This strong patience and long term understanding. You feel very strongly about where you are going and what sustainability looks like to you. It can be a challenge not seeing the fruits of your labor yet, but you know you will. Your investments do not fail you, and your patience keeps you grounded in your decision. Keep that energy up during this cycle. Patience. I have been forced to be very patient recently.
Yeah. I think that you have like exhausted all the patients for
Yeah,
yourself and like anybody in a 2 mile radius. Like you used up all of their patients too. Like that's how much patience I feel like you've had to have in the last couple of months.
yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely leveling up my patience skills
Leveling up your
for sure.
patient skill. That's great.
Slowly but surely.
Um okay, so my card for this one is the Four of Pentacles right side up. It represents more like control, stability, and conservation. This relates to your finances through this full moon cycle. Focus on being that lock and key, but for your bank account instead. This is a time to spend less money and focus on the financial goals you need to feel that stability that you crave. You have had your business affairs for a while now, and you are on the right path. This is simply a reminder that if you continue to make smart financial decisions, you will benefit greatly from all the control you've had to exert. Keep yourself motivated through celebrating how far you've come financially. Yeah, okay. So I definitely wouldn't say that we're like in a super great place financially, but
Who
the bills are
is?
paid. Yeah. The bills are paid, we have food in the fridge, and I'm calling that a win at this point.
A
Like
hundred percent.
that's better than it has been in the past. Like,
Yeah.
you know, very early adult life starting from nothing. That's definitely better than it has been in the past. I think that um relatively, I mean, I don't think I'd call myself like super financially stable, but I think I am more financially stable than I have been previously in my life. So
I would say you're like financially mature.
I think I would disagree with you.
No way. Are you kidding me? You won't even buy fucking pass on Fall Guys.
No,
Shut
I
up with
won't.
your
Okay, but I will buy the TFT one.
Yeah,
I,
but like I will buy both.
I
So
know. Well, I have to pick. I can't have both. That's excessive.
treat yourself.
It's excessive.
Literally me treat yourself and then it's just me just treating myself every fucking day.
I know. That's okay though. That's okay.
No, I unfortunately am very good at getting other people to spend money. So that's one of
Oh
my
god.
talents.
That's okay. That's not a terrible talent. There could be worse. You could get people to smoke meth. So, you know, you're
That's
doing
oh
great.
yeah, that's true. I can get people to kill other people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're doing great.
that's true. That's a good way to look at it.
All right. We have two more left. So the next one is an inner strength that you have. What do you have?
Okay, Queen of Pentacles, right side up, represents Gia, Earth, Mother, nourishment, hearth. There is nothing in this world like a mother's love. Queen of Pentacles is that love, comfort, and support for the work life balance you need. Knowing how to make a little go a long way is a practical skill you have learned and become exceptionally good at. This helps your home feel like the place your own kids need to grow and develop in their own journeys. The more you lean into this and your nurture it, your own will be the ultimate landing and taking off pad for success in your loved ones and your life. Abundance will flow naturally going on this path.
I think that's definitely an inner strength that you have. I think you're a really good mom. And
Thank you.
you're really good at taking care of people.
Yeah,
Um
I'm good at I like that it says I've learned to make things go a long way, like resources. It's like because
yeah.
I've kind of had to like growing up, like we didn't have a lot of money, but also like
Mhm.
I feel like emotionally I've had to because like
Yeah.
I feel like I'm always emotionally depleted and kind of like having to force my emotions and everything to go a long way, especially being a mother. It's like you don't really have a choice. You have to show up and be there
Yeah.
and do the things. And um, yeah, I feel like I've learned to give myself grace when I need it and stuff and allow myself to do things I enjoy to do, like, and know that the kids will be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No, I think that's definitely I think that hit it right on the head.
Yeah.
So yours was the Queen of Pentacles. Mine for this one is the Princess of Pentacles. Right
Ooh.
side up. So this represents a thirst for knowledge, grounding, and practicality. These are skills that you have learned and continue to pull from to move through your everyday life. The Princess of Pentacles knows what she wants, and she gets it by learning practical skills she can apply to everyday life. You are killing it, is what this card is saying. Um, your inner strength helps you pursue the real world around you and girl boss naturally. Remain grounded during this full moon and write down your goals that you want to accomplish before the end of the year. Reframe the path however you need and that utilizes your skills the most. This is going to be a successful year for you and continuing the path with this practice in mind. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really uncomfortable talking about good things about myself. I'm good at my job. I'm good at my job, and I think that in the past couple of months, I've gone through a period where I really felt like I wasn't. I had a change in my boss, and we did not get off to a great start. Like my first conversation with her, I felt so inadequate and so incompetent and so just absolute crap at my job. Didn't really feel very good. But I have to make money, so gotta figure something out. So, just kind of going through that, getting to know her a little better and try really hard to not necessarily make it all about me, and understand more of her perspective, and also communicate like, this is what I need from you as a leader to be my best as a leader.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing all of that kind of stuff. It's been tough, but I think that like this last month we've gotten to a pretty good spot with like our working relationship. My boss is a very non-emotional person at work. At work, I'm very sunshine and rainbows. I send lots of smiley faces and I send lots of gifts, and I use lots of LOLs and exclamation points and all of the like intentional emotional inflections.
Yeah.
My boss is not that way. Like most of my
Which I feel like is
mornings,
always scary. Like, I don't know what you're feeling.
I know,
I
I'm just
need
like
to know.
like, and that's something I've tried to work on, is like my perspective of her communication. Be like, okay, maybe she doesn't actually hate me, and this is just the way that she talks.
Yeah.
But she's very like, in the morning, if she needs something, she'd be like, FYI, do this. That's it. It's like, okay, that's great. But we've had conversations, and she sent me a smiley face the other day, and I thought that was excellent. So we're getting there slowly but surely. It's
Yeah.
getting better. All
Communication is good.
right. Yes. Our last category for the evening. This is outside help or advice that would be good for you. And you had 2 cards for this one.
Yes. So mine is Two of Pentacles upside down, represents more of a financial instability, neglect, and disorganization potential. Paying bills on time and managing monetary responsibilities is going to be a priority that cannot get overlooked during this full moon. Make sure to make a budget and schedule of payments and keep to that. It will be easier during this more hectic time to forget or push off financial things. But this is not the phase to do that in. Your commitment and grit will need to be at the forefront of your household's money this cycle. 8 of Pentacles, right side up, is my second. Represents more of a hustle, grit, and craftsmanship type of card. This ties in wonderful with the 7 of Pentacles, as the 8 of Pentacles shows that your patience and grit is getting you there. You are mastering skills that will allow you to feel that safety and sustainability you desire. Your patience, commitment, focus, and dedication are getting you through your journey daily. Remind yourself of this every day as you move through life on how strong you really are.
Well, that's a nice note to end on.
Yeah. I feel like this has to do a lot with like both of them, obviously. Like a lot of like the change happening in my life right now and like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of patience it's forcing me to have and like just knowing that obviously this is like a good um decision for our life and like
Right.
it's a opportunity for us and everything, and so just taking the time to like allow it to happen and however it's going to happen and to not rush into things, I think is like
Mm-hmm.
one of the biggest things I've tried to like allow in the situation, because I feel like a lot of times we've kind of been like, okay, let's just go, we'll just rent something, blah blah blah, and I don't know, I just keep feeling like it's not the right decision and to just kind of like wait it out and see kind of what happens.
Yeah.
So it's been hard to like trust the process, I would say. And so
Yeah.
just allowing that and knowing that like it's gonna be okay eventually.
I think also just like going back to one of the other cards, like your intuition is definitely a strength that you have. So like if something feels off, like it's okay to trust that.
Yeah.
Okay. So
That's
my
your last one.
my last one. So for outside help or advice, I have the Six of Cups, right side up. Oh, this one's gonna make me cry. This represents more of a familiarity, innocence, and nostalgia. The advice you could use to help you through this journey is to remember playtime. Your past has struggles and rough times, but your inner child needs fun as well. She needed a lot more fun than she had,
Hmm.
and having moments of childhood fun will bring you an abundance of joy. Being stern and strong is important to keep going, and so is play and downtime. We need to have pleasure just because, for no reason. Playing with friends and a romantic lover will help strengthen your self esteem and love that you deserve to feel. Your life becomes less black and white and more colorful each time you give yourself playtime. Allow yourself to continue to discover the world as your inner child used to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like I said before, I really struggle with the concept of an inner child. Like, I don't know, not that I didn't have playtime as a kid, but like
I think
I
you grew up too
just
fast.
yeah, no, I definitely did. I literally remember like my first like, children's church or whatever, junior church like activity at Faith, and they were all playing, I want to say it was like red light green light, and I'm pretty sure like, and I just like I wasn't playing, and I just sat in a corner by myself because that was just more comfortable.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it was Jens Heiberg came up to me and he was like, "Why aren't you playing? Why aren't you having fun?" I was like, "I don't know how to have fun."
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just I don't remember my childhood very fondly for a lot of reasons, but like even outside, because this was I'm pretty sure this was before the abuse was happening. So this was like
Yeah.
very shortly after we moved. Um like I have always been like that. Like it's very hard for me to see value in having fun simply just to have
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. I would say it's kind of hard to like be like, yeah, let's have fun while we feel like everyone in the world is going to burn in hell if we don't,
Yep.
save them. So
Yep. True. Very true.
that's a little bit hard. But yeah, I think that the way we were raised and the way that boomers think also of like video games being like for lazy people that don't have jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like the nice thing I think about millennials is like we have very much channeled the inner child that boomers never did, right?
Yeah.
And like that they won't like allow themselves to have like to enjoy things. And it's like
Yeah.
what what is life then if you're not enjoying anything, you know?
Right. Well, and
So,
honestly, like you've helped a lot with that, like making me play video games and like watch things that I never would have watched and just like
yeah.
there have literally been times like I'll be editing and stuff and you'll just be like, "Okay, stop and come play this game with me." Like this is more important right now. Um and
Yeah,
and
I
that
think that
I need that. That's good for me.
yeah, and I was, I feel like I remember being in that realm of like before I played games and stuff and like being like I'd
Yeah.
rather be doing other things or whatever and um it's okay to like allow yourself to like things and it's okay to allow yourself to
Yeah.
enjoy things that like maybe you think is stupid or whatever. Like it's okay to enjoy those things. I don't
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what people think. Like if it brings you joy, do it. Like that's okay. And I think that we need to kind of like let go of that guilt that we feel of like not being productive or whatever. It's like
Yeah.
no, giving yourself joy and giving yourself pleasure and whatever, like that is worth it. That is worth the joy of playing a game
Yeah.
um and giving yourself that time to like connect with your inner child or to connect with like who connect with yourself, like
Yeah.
allowing yourself that time I think is really, really important. Um and yeah, and I think that obviously it's also important to see like to have my kids see that like I still am able to like
Yeah.
do things I want to do and
Yeah.
that like
I
adulthood doesn't mean the end of fun.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing, like it was like yesterday we were running through a swamp and like trying to get Iron home. And
Mhm.
like I don't remember who it was Arya or Aiden, but one of them put like something on your hand while we were literally like fighting somebody like
Yeah.
hard. And
Mhm.
you were just like, "Mommy has to fight a troll. Can you please take this off my hand?" Like, it's just, I love it. That's my
Yeah.
favorite. Like,
She like I don't even remember what it was, but she put it right on my hand and we're like, "Oh my God."
like,
Like, yeah.
yeah, it was really funny.
But
But
yeah, I think that
that's our tarot card reading.
yeah.
So I think that it was very helpful. I think it was really fun.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with a new perspective and a new way to think about things. Like again, even if you don't necessarily believe in the supernaturalness of it, it's still healthy to get different perspectives on
Yeah.
like the way that you think about life and the way that you think about your experiences. So definitely would recommend to anyone, not just ex cult people, but definitely
Yeah.
would recommend to ex cult people. It was really good.
Yeah, it was nice. It was just like eye-opening and stuff and
Yeah.
I would say validating too and like things that
Yes.
we've been
Yeah.
feeling and stuff. So,
For
yeah.
sure. So I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Please remember to click all of the buttons, like, subscribe, hit the little
Please
notification bell
subscribe.
thingy. um,
If you watch us often, please subscribe. We just hit over
we
100
just hit 100.
subscribers.
It feels really
So, yeah,
good.
it's been
So
awesome.
make us feel good, please and thank you. But yeah, we will see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Share your story.
If you have been affected by religious trauma or abuse, we want to hear your story.
Even if you're not ready to share publicly, we would be happy to listen and support you on your journey, free of judgment or pressure.
Please email us at cultconfessionskjv@gmail.com to get started.
We believe you.